Hello? Yeah? No, I don't. Okay. Yes, I will. Can you Enkatino, but hold on for like Mambe 1 minute. Alright. Enkatino. Okay, keep quiet. Hey, what's up guys? It's Theo from Fino Concept. So today we are going to create this YouTube intro in Adobe After Effects. So let's just get started. Welcome to Fino Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Alright, so let's go ahead to open up our application. For this tutorial, I'm using Adobe After Effects 2018 and I'll go ahead and click on New Composition. So as always, I'm going to set my weight to 1920 and my height to 1080. The composition name, you can name it whatever you want, but I will call mine YouTube intro. My frame rate is set to 30 and the duration is set to 5. Now it doesn't matter what the background is, so I'll just click on OK. Now the first thing I'm going to do is right click on this area, go to New and click on Solid. So I'm going to select a solid color. The first one is actually going to be white, so I'll just select a solid white color, click on OK and click on OK one more time. And I'm going to create another one. This time around is going to be a little bit darker, so I'll go with the color code 202020 and I'll click on OK and OK. Now I do this because I want to be able to vary between the dark side and the white side, just like you saw in the intro. So for this we just be working on the white, then you can see the before and after. So let's go to our Shapes tool option, click and hold, then go to Rounded Rectangle tool. Click on it one time. Now I'm going to draw a rounded rectangle like so, just by clicking and dragging. About this size should be just perfect. Now you can see my fill is set to white and my stroke is also set to white. I'm actually going to change the stroke to D8, D8, D8. You can even make it a little bit darker if you want, so that you can vary it. So I think C666 is okay, and I'll click on OK. Now I'm going to grab my anchor point tool and try to place the anchor point at the center, and I can also do this by just double clicking on it, and that will place it at the center. Now go to Window and make sure that Align is checked. If it is already checked, just bring this at the center by using the horizontal center alignment and the vertical center alignment. Now this is placed directly at the center. This is what we want. So if I go back to my Shapes tool, I'll go ahead and click on Add and I'll click on Trim Path. Now let's zoom in a little bit to see. Now what I'm going to do is actually click on the name fill, not the color, the name fill, and select None and click on OK because I want no fill in this. I'll go into the Trim Path options. So I'll go ahead and create an end keyframe. I want my end keyframe to start at 0%, then I'll move about 1 second and I'll turn it up to 100%. So if I go ahead and play this, this is how it looks. Now select both of my keyframes, right click and go to Keyframe Assistant, then click on Easy Ease. The shortcut is F9, so I'll be using F9 for the rest of this tutorial. Now if I go ahead and play this, this is how it is looking like. I think it's awesome already. Now I'll go into my graph editor. If you don't have this, just right click and go to Edit Speed Graph. And I'll just select my curve right here and turn it all the way to the left like so. So it moves in a lot faster than it ends. Now I'm going to press enter and call this gray stroke. Now I'll go ahead to duplicate this, so Control D. I'll hit enter and call this red stroke. Alright, so having the same trim path option on this, I'm just going to select my Shapes tool. Make sure that the stroke is also set to 5 pixels, and I'll change the color to a red color, so something like, I don't know, FF3030 should be okay, and I'll click on OK. Now this is how they both look like. So I'll move about 10 frames and I'll click and drag this over here so that one moves in before the other, and I think the animation is quite seamless already. Now I'm going to hit U on my keyboard to bring up all my keyframes, and I'm going to click and drag this to the 1 second. I want everything to be exactly ending at 1 second, so this is what I have. So if I go ahead and play this, this is how it is looking like. I think this is pretty cool. Now I'm going to duplicate this again one more time, so Control D, and I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. This time around I'm going to call it red fill. So for the fill color, I'll just click on stroke, turn it to none, hit OK. I'll click on the word fill and turn it to the first option, which is a solid color. Now currently it is set to white, so I'll go ahead and click on it and I'll set it to a red color. I don't remember the red color I used. I think FF3030, and I'll just click on OK. Now this also has the trim path options, so hit U on my keyboard and I'll go ahead and delete that end trim path option. So let's see how this is looking like. Now I want this to come in just after 1 second, so I'll move this over here whilst holding down shift so that it snaps in just at the 1 second. Now I'll move my playhead to about 2 seconds, hit P on my keyboard to bring up position keyframe, and I'll create a position keyframe for the red fill, hit F9 on my keyboard to easy ease it, move over to the beginning, which is 1 second, and I'll move the x-axis over to the left slide, so somewhere around here should be just fine. So just after the animation ends, this is going to slide in like this. Obviously this isn't looking nice. If I go ahead and play this, you can see that it just comes from nowhere. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this one more time, so red fill, Control D to duplicate, hit enter on my keyboard, and I'll call this red fill matte. Now in case you don't have this option, just click on toggle switches to be able to move between this, and if you still don't have this, just right click anywhere at the top here, go to columns and make sure that mode is checked. So I'll go ahead and select the first one, which is red fill, click under track matte, make sure it is set to alpha matte, red fill matte. Now unfortunately for me, this also has that position keyframe, so I'll go ahead and delete that, so it will just be at where it's supposed to be. So if I go ahead and play this, you can see that it only moves in where the red fill matte is, just like this. So this is okay. I'll go ahead. You should probably keep saving your work, so I'll go ahead and save mine. Untitled project, save. Okay, so if I zoom in a little bit, now the next thing is to create a play button. So I'll go to the shapes tool again, click on polygon tool, and I'm just going to draw a polygon like so. And once I've done that, just go into the content, click on polystar 1, click on polystar path, and make sure that the number of points is set to 3. This is going to make it a perfect triangle. Now once I've done that, I'm going to rotate this about 90 degrees, so hit R on my keyboard to bring up rotation, and I'll go ahead and type it in like this. I think this is okay. Now you can see that the rotation is happening over at this anchor point, so what I'm going to do is control double click on the anchor point 2, so that will place it just at the center. Now I can just use the move tool and place this also at the center. You can also use your align tabs to do that. So I think I'll go ahead and change the anchor point, place it somewhere around here. So still with my move tool selected, I'll click on fill and I'll change this to a solid fill color and hit on OK. So the animation is going to start in somewhere around here, 2 seconds. So I'll hold down the Alt key and I'll click on the open bracket key. I'll actually press on it, not click. So let's hit R again to hide the rotation, and let's go ahead and name this. So I'll call this play head, hit enter. Now we are also going to add trim paths to this, so go to add, make sure that your shapes tool is still selected, go to add and click on trim path. Now open up the trim path options and let's adjust a few things. So I'll first create a start trim path keyframe for this, move about 1 second or probably just about 15 frames, and I'll turn this all the way up to 100. Now let's play this and see how it is looking. Okay, I think it's supposed to be the other way around. So for the first keyframe, I'll rather turn it up to 100%, and for the last one I'll turn it down to 0%. So if I go ahead and play this, okay, now this is much better. I'm also going to add a stroke to it, so click on stroke, click on the first preset and click OK. Now I'm going to change the stroke color to white also, so that the trim path is going to be animating with the stroke first, then it fills in like this. I think this is much nicer than what I had previously. Again, select both keyframes, F9 to easy ease them. Now I'll press U on my keyboard to bring up the keyframes, click on the graph editor, select the last keyframe and just make it look like this. Turn it all the way to the left. I think I should have done the same for some of these. Again, so I'll turn this all the way to the left. I prefer having my animation come in fast then slow later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this and see what we have. I think this is much nicer. So I'll go ahead and zoom out from here. So let's fit this to 100%. Now the next thing is to type in the name you want to use. So I'll type in Theo Labi and I'll just align this at the center. Again, control double clicking on the anchor point tool to place this at the center. Now I want this animation to come in somewhere around here, so Alt open square bracket. So this is going to animate for about 15 frames. So somewhere around here should be 15 frames, between 10 and 20. So with this selected, I'll go back to my selection tool. With this selected, I'll press P on my keyboard to bring up the position keyframe. Then I'm just going to align this somewhere around here, trying to place this at the center. I think this is going to be the final place my text is going to be. So I'll create a position keyframe and I'll press F9 to easy ease. Then I'll bring it over to the beginning. Then I'll just adjust the x-axis somewhere around here. So the animation is going to start in like this. Again, go to the graph editor and I'll turn it all the way to the left. I think this is looking pretty cool. I want the same animation to happen to everything else. So I'll go ahead and select playhead and everything else except for the background. I'll start in at the beginning, press P on my keyboard to bring up the position keyframe, and I'll create a position keyframe for everything, F9 to easy ease. Now you notice that it didn't create a position keyframe for the red fill because we already have that. So I will have to manually click on the diamond icon right here, so that will add a position keyframe for me. Then I'll move over to the end of the animation. Now I'll adjust the position to somewhere around here. So if I go ahead and play this, you can see that it moves like so. Now I'm getting a little bit of error over here. Let me quickly turn off this area. Now this is happening because the speed of my animation are not the same. So I'll go ahead and click on the graph editor and you can see this is different from what I have here. So I'll just turn that also all the way to the left. So I'll just do that individually. Let me undo for a second. So I'll select this and I'll turn it all the way to the left. I'll do the same for this. Okay, now everything is looking like this and they should all move together like so. Alright, now the problem is fixed. Now the next thing to do is I actually want this to only animate when it is coming in. I don't want it to be so visible. So what I'm going to do is I'll make sure no layer is selected. I'll go to the tool options, select the rectangle tool and draw a perfect rectangle on top of my text like this. Again, I'll place the anchor point at the center and I'll cut it over at this area. You know what, let's go ahead and name this to text math. So for my text, I'm also going to change the track math to alpha math text math. So it's only going to show where the rectangle is, and I think this is much better. Now again, I think the position is quite terrible, so I'll just adjust where my text mat is so that it can really match where this is supposed to be. Alright, so instead of just trying to figure out where to place the text mat, I'll rather select both of these and just bring them beneath everything else, so they are only going to show behind my YouTube play button. Now if you want to use the dark version, just make sure that you bring back the dark gray solid color created, but for the text you have to highlight the text and just change it to a white color or a bright color. And if you go ahead and play this, this is what it is going to look like, and you can just go ahead and render this out. Alright, if you want this template, I'll have it linked in the description below. It's going to be the first link, so be sure to check it out. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like to watch more of my videos, hit that subscribe button, and as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Concept, and I'll see you guys in the next one.